continuing our coverage on where students may be finding lunches this summer as the federal waivers end. I went to Sun Prairie this week to chat with one local group who's found a way to keep those free lunches intact. So we're out here at Vandenberg Park in Sun Prairie. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Sun Prairie Community Schools will be out here all summer distributing free lunches. And I'm actually here with Jamie Racine. You are the community coordinator for Sun Prairie Community Schools. Tell me a little bit about what's happening here.
Sure. So we're actually a collaborative of nonprofit organizations, city entities, and our school district, where we all came together to figure out how we can continue to serve our students and make sure that every student has a meal. And so we're out here. This is one of 3 neighborhood stops that we make every Monday, Wednesday, Friday in collaboration with our partners.
So we've actually been hanging out here, our team, for the last 15-20 minutes. We've seen quite a few kids come by, get lunches. What's the best estimate for how many you're serving at any given stop?
Sure. So this is an extension of some of the neighborhood-based services we started during COVID and continued even over this past school year. And so we see anywhere over the 3 stops, anywhere from 35 to 95 kids in a day, which makes it a little tricky to try to plan for lunches, but we're sort of finding our summer groove. And obviously weather plays a factor, and today's a beautiful day, so we've got a lot of kids out.
Absolutely. So, and I explained this, the reason we're talking is because of these federal waivers that throughout the pandemic have made lunch free for any kid, regardless of their background, their financial background. Tell me a little bit about how this initiative got started in light of that.
Sure. So during the pandemic, what we saw is last summer and the summer before, our school district really spearheaded the work to put together meal boxes for our families to have for entire weeks at a time. We did that while they were doing distance learning, and we were able to continue that service last summer because of the waivers. What we realized about midway through this year, as we still serve weekend boxes as well as part of our community schools initiative, and we were talking about that, and we realized that we wouldn't be able to continue that service. Is similar in that conversation. Our food pantry, which is one of our key partners in making this work, has seen an increase in usage over this past semester, and so we knew that there would still be a need, and so we brought everybody to the table and talked about what we could do to solution an idea to keep kids fed, and this is what we came up with.
Where's the money coming from?
Yeah, so we've got a bit of a braided funding model. The majority of the funding comes from the city of Sun Prairie through their ARPA dollar allocation. That's funding a big chunk of that. We're also leaning on donations and collaborations with some of our community partners like Sunshine Place and working with them to put it all together.
So I know it's going for this summer. Do you anticipate continuing through the school year? Through how long do you think you can keep this up?
Sure. So this past year we were out in the neighborhoods, these 3 neighborhoods, once a week. So in addition to food, we also will bring out basic need items. We'll have different community partners come out and do activities with kids. So it's really a community building work. And so I actually don't anticipate this type of work going away anytime soon. Our community partners are all in, and it's been a really fun way for us to do our work together and meeting the same goals, which is making sure that students and families are supported here in Sun Prairie.
And fairly unique. I'm not seeing a lot of groups able to do this for, any kid in the community this summer. Does this kind of put you in a particular place, or potentially to have more students coming in because there's not a lot filling that gap?
Yeah, well, what we have seen with our weekend meal boxes, we do have about 40 boxes a week that are going to students outside of Sun Prairie, and we're happy to help serve that need. And if anybody in our neighboring communities or anywhere else is interested in learning more about how we do what we do, we'd be happy to sit down and chat through and help to make this happen in other communities, because we know we're not the only place where the need is.
So we're standing in front of the table. Show me a little bit about what a kid might be getting when they walk up. Do they have to fill out any paperwork? Do they have to prove anything?
No questions asked. Any child 18 or under will receive a free meal, and so we have our volunteers here that have been putting together the lunches, and so we've got we make sure that we have a well-rounded lunch. We've got vegetables, we've got a main meal, so a sandwich and milk, and they all go together in a bag, and the students can stay in the park and eat it, or they can take it home.
We also talked a little bit off camera about something pretty exciting over here, the community garden. If you could just show me how this might play into school lunch plans.
Sure, absolutely. So the Let Us Dream Community Garden is a collaboration between the City of Sun Prairie Parks and Recreation Department and Sun Prairie Community Schools. And we had some students at C.H. Bird Elementary, which is just on the other side of these houses here, raise a bunch of these little plant babies as the part of their garden club in the after-school program. And as you can see, everything's starting to come up. And once we're ready for harvest, when students come by for lunch, they'll be welcome to come in and add a little bit of extra freshness to their lunch gatherings. The intention of this community garden is that anybody in the neighborhood can come and harvest. This is here. We build it together and we enjoy it together. And so there'll be signs around when the harvest is ready.
Anything else that I've forgotten to add or you think it's important to talk about with this whole initiative?
Yeah, so part of the reason Sun Prairie Community Schools is involved in feeding kids is that our focus is to reduce barriers that keep our students, families, and neighborhoods from thriving. And so we are a neighborhood-based initiative that is centered at our schools, making our schools the hub of our neighborhoods. And that doesn't end when school ends. And so we have our site coordinators who work directly out of our schools that are out in the neighborhoods and continuing to connect with students and families to make sure if they have a need that we can meet that need and help connect them to the resources that they seek.
Jamie, thank you so much for taking a few minutes of your day to share with us.
Yeah, thanks for visiting Sun Prairie. You're welcome anytime.
When we come back, Cap Times political reporter Jack Kelly is with me to break down some of the biggest political headlines we saw this week.